and we will get it started with Fetters. Go ahead, Chris.
Yeah, Coach Cato, was always kind of curious, especially with the way teams like to use tight ends in the modern game. I guess there's this feeling that maybe on the outside you can kind of put the tight ends into two different buckets. You've kind of got that traditional inline guy, and then you've got the guy in the slot or outside who seems to be more versatile in space. How have you kind of reconciled the way it's done right now in recruiting, and do you actually specifically recruit guys to be in certain buckets, or do you still just ask them to try to do as much as they can?
Yeah, I mean, I think it goes along with, most positions, right? I think a kid has got to have one redeeming or outstanding quality that really separates himself, right? And he fits the measurables we're looking for, and he has that one big time quality. Then we try to fit him in the offense to maximize his strengths and try to minimize his weaknesses. And so, we want to have a balance back, but we also like to have guys that we can move around here, right? Obviously, we've done that in the past with certain guys like guys in different ways.
All right, we'll go to Mike Vorel, followed by Lars. Go ahead, Mike.
Yeah, Durham, I'm wondering, with Jack Westover, how would you describe his skill set on the field and also what he brings to your room?
On the front side of plays, but we can also split them out, and he's really taking the next step in his route running, right? I mean, he's done some really good things just on his releases and on his stems, and he's a reliable player. When the ball's thrown to him, he doesn't drop it, makes plays, and so he's done a lot for this room, and he's worked his butt off and put himself in a really good position for this year.
All right, we'll go to Lars Hansen, followed by Lauren Kirschman. Go ahead, Lars.
Hey, Coach. I just wanted to get your thoughts on how Jack Yari, Mason West, and Mark Redmond have looked so far in camp.
Yeah, all those guys. Things, but there's also some things they need to improve on, and just like any freshman, right? They go through their lumps, and so they're all doing a really good job for sure.
Go ahead, Lauren. Sorry about that. Go ahead, Lauren.
Hey, I was just wondering, what it's been like with Cade Otten, what kind of your impression is of his skill set and what a next step forward looks like for him.
Yeah, I mean, he's kind of one of those, he's a big time player, right? I don't think there's many guys in the country that are he's awesome at the point of attack. He's very physical. He's got really clean technique. And he's a really reliable player in the pass game. I think he has taken the next step on some things, just some of his route running stuff, his releases at the line of scrimmage, and in the run game, just some hand placement things, just some little tweaks. But he's a great player, and he has gotten better this camp. I think he's gotten more aggressive. He's getting off the ball with a little bit more snap in the run game, and like I said, he's definitely done some things in the pass game in terms of his releases, understanding the coverages from a defensive ID standpoint on when to get open and how to work certain holes in the defense. So he's done an awesome job.
All right, we'll go to Dan Raley, followed by Christian Caple.
Coach, with the new offense, some people thought you might come out and have something like an air raid, maybe 3 wide receivers and kind of downplay the tight end a little bit. But Washington's always been a 2 tight end school. Could you talk about just the basic premise? Did anything really change? Could I just interject, Jeff? We're losing video.
Yeah,
never
we're having
heard
some
of
issues.
that.
Sorry, we're having some issues with this. I'm not really sure why. I'm going to try to keep myself as quiet as possible, but not mute myself, because whenever I mute, Coach Cato mutes as well. So apologies for that. I'm not really sure why it's any different than normal. Let's try right now and see if Christian has an answer. We can come back to you, Dan, if you'd like, and re-raise your hand. But let's see if we can make it work with Christian right now. Go ahead, Christian.
Yeah, Durham, I was just wondering specifically on Mark Redmond, if you're at a point in camp yet where you can say whether or not you expect him to play this year or be a part of the rotation at tight end.
Yeah, I mean, he's had a great camp. He's really taken the steps necessary. But at the end of the day, we got 4 more days, and so, all these guys, at the end of the day, they're fighting for their right to play, and there's a bunch of guys in that mix, and so, we'll see how it shakes out in these next couple of days with them. But he's done a really good job this camp, just like all those other freshmen have, in terms of understanding this offense and coming to work every day to get better and doing all the extra things off the field. So I'm really happy with that whole group, for sure.
All right, again, I apologize. I'm not sure how to make this work better, but we'll go to Chris Fetters. I'm going to mute myself when Chris is talking and when Coach is talking. We'll see what we can do, make it work as well as we can. Go ahead, Chris.
Yeah, Durham, with the, I don't know if anybody got your answer to Mike's question about Jack Westover. Can you tell us a little bit about, obviously, the scholarship situation, and maybe also a little bit about how that was unveiled, because sometimes those are kind of neat things that when they happen.
Yeah, I mean, obviously he's a guy that's worked really hard, and at the end of the day, it's their job as players, right, to add value to this program, and he did that last year, and he worked his butt off this off season, put himself in a position to have a big time year. He's had a great training, and so very much deserved for him, and we just expect him to continue to grow in this offense, with the next few years. And, I don't think it was anything too crazy. I know Coach Lake, he hit me up, and then he brought Jack in and let him know. And I know Jack was super fired up about it. Obviously we all were. And again, it's very much deserved for him.
All right, we'll go to Lars, I think is next, and then Dan Raley. Again, apologies. Go ahead, Lars.
Yeah, Coach, how does the shortened season impact maybe the rotation you'll have? Has that been a factor, and how much has that been a factor in terms of wanting to get as much rotation during camp as possible?
I don't know. I don't think it's gonna really affect it that much, in terms of those guys. I mean, at the end of the day, it's we're going to get the best players on the field and let them roll. So I don't think it really is going to play that much into it, for sure.
All right, that's all the Dan Raley. Sorry, go ahead, Dan Raley. Go ahead.
Hey, Coach, it was just the repeat question on the 2 tight end approach versus something less than that. Did Washington change much as far as the use of tight ends?
Oh, yeah, for sure. I mean, at the end of the day, this is a conceptual offense, and we got a bunch of really good tight ends. We got a bunch of really good receivers. They can run these concepts in all different spots, and so it's our jobs to get the best players out there to make plays and put them in position to take advantage of their strengths, right? Just like anybody. And so, yeah, I mean, I think it's like we got a good group we're really excited about, and I think all those guys are going to definitely be in the mix.
All right, we got one more from Chris Fetters. Go ahead, Chris, and then Mazvita also after that. Last 2 questions, please.
Oh, sorry, Durham. I was just I was been reading a little bit about Wisconsin's quarterback situation, where they're down and now their 4th guy because of an injury and a couple COVID situations where they're having to quarantine. Does that kind of thinking, do you have, I mean, because I know you guys have to deal with contingencies of all different kinds, but when it comes to the virus and everything like that, does that add even more impetus to the fact that you have to get all those guys ready to go? Because, at any one time you could lose a guy or two because of quarantine or isolation?
Yeah, for sure. It's definitely played a role, and so we've got a bunch of different plans in place to handle those situations to where we don't miss a beat. We can still be the offense we want to be, and have the identity that we want to have. And so, we've got a good plan in place to handle that if it does arise. And I think for me specifically, my group, I think the guys have done a really good job, again, learning this offense from a conceptual standpoint. And so they understand their roles. They know a bunch of different positions they can play. And I think, if something like that unfortunately did happen, we're not going to miss a beat. We're going to be ready to roll.
All right, last question from Mazvita. Go ahead, Maz.
Sure. Hey, Durham, if I heard you correctly, you said the next 4 or 5 days are important. What does that look like from a coaching evaluation perspective? Not specific players, but how you guys will now grade the talent moving forward.
Yeah, it's just the conclusion of camp. And so obviously we want to see them finish strong. And by the time you get to day 17 or 18, right, it becomes a little bit of a grind, want to see, are they finishers? Are they going to come out every day ready to roll, and are they going to fight and compete when there's a little bit of pressure on there, when they're fighting for spots and fighting for playing time? And you want to see what guys are going to fold under the pressure and what guys are going to embrace it and the next step. And I think, that's the biggest thing I want to see in these next, 3 or 4 days, man. Keep guys keep working hard, playing physical, getting after it, and coming to work every day ready to roll.
Thank you.
All right, I think that'll do it for Coach Cato. Thank you very much. Jack Westover, I think, is there waiting to go on next, so it'll just take a second to change it out. Again, apologies for the audio issues. Hopefully things are working out now relatively well. Raise your hands if you have questions for Jack Westover, who I think is going to be taking a seat. Again, I'm not really sure why anything's different than it has been in terms of our setup. It's the same as it's been, but hopefully you're hearing okay when the coach or Jack is talking. Again, Jack's gonna have a seat right now, and then we'll take questions for him. Vorel's first, then Caple, then Fetters. And if I'm a little slow on moving from person to person, it's because of I'm not actually able to listen anymore. I got to watch to see when they stop talking. So again, when Jack sits down and looks settled in, we'll let Mike start us with the first question, followed by Christian, followed by Fetters. Why don't we just remember that part for now? So Mike, Christian, and then Fetters with the first 3 questions. I'll interject again after that. Go ahead, Mike.
Yeah, Jack. Congrats on the scholarship situation. I'm wondering, when and how that happened and what your reaction was when that happened.
Yeah, Coach Lake came to me after OTA about a few weeks ago. Let me know the news, and I was just super grateful and blessed for the opportunity.
Hey, Jack. Just curious how you would describe the H-back role. I know you obviously played there last year and had some success, and just kind of what that's all about and why you think your skill set is suited for a role like that.
Yeah, the H-back is just a physical position. You got to go in there. You got to know what you're getting yourself into, and you got to be able to sacrifice your body. And, I like to think of myself as a really physical player. And so that's what that was all about last year, is just finding a role, finding a way to contribute.
Hey, Jack, I was just curious about your coming to Washington. Obviously, you're a local kid, and I know there's probably connections there. But when you were talking to Coach Papal about the possibility of walking on and with the other opportunities, can you talk about your recruitment and where you maybe were looking at going before deciding to ultimately walk on?
Yeah. My senior year, I decided to play football. I played in 8th grade. And so my senior year, I decided to come on and play football at Mount Si. And I went to the UW football camp over the summer, caught a couple eyes, and then played. And then the regular season started for high school, and I only played 2 games because I broke my collarbone. And so, it was really tough, but so I didn't really have any recruitment because, we got a guy with two games of film. And so, I just stayed with me, stayed in contact, and I'm super grateful for that, for sure.
All right, we'll go. The next 3 questions will be from Raley, then Lars, then Tony. Go ahead, Dan, get us started.
Yeah, Jack, was that, did you feel like it was a gamble when you came to Washington without a scholarship? Because I think I read you could have gone to some smaller schools and been paid for.
Yeah, I definitely had opportunities. A lot of coaches were, not a lot, but a couple coaches were talking to me. And, there wasn't really a lot of opportunity. And the gamble, I wouldn't say there was much of a gamble. I've been a Husky my whole life. My dad had season tickets for 50 40 years. So it was really a no-brainer if I didn't really have another opportunity.
Go ahead, Lars.
Hey Jack, I just wanted to get your thoughts. The transition when you played no games your true freshman year, redshirted that, and getting the scout team MVP. Just what did that year mean to you to get the scout team MVP and just have that full year under your belt to redshirt and kind of learn the program?
Yeah, I mean, my freshman year was just kind of, I came in like at 220, so it was just about getting bigger, getting stronger, getting better every day. And I think, with all the special team stuff, it was just another way for me to contribute to the team. And, that's what that freshman year was all about, just kind of improving as a player.
Jack, now that you're kind of in a situation where you've been healthy for a couple years in a row, I wonder if you're starting to find a new level of confidence out there on the field, and maybe just talk to that, being able to play a whole lot in a row. And then I have a follow-up for you after that.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, Saha has really helped me out in his training, and his strength staff has really taken me to another level with that. I think I've gone into a confidence where I can go out there and play my game, be out in space and be in line blocking and not, there's not even a thought of it. And so I think for sure, and the more you're out there, the more confident you get for sure. And so that plays into it.
And then you said your dad had 40 years worth of season tickets. How many games did you go to? Do you have a favorite one? What was that experience like for you?
Yeah, I mean, I just remember always, coming to the games, and it was always just surreal. And I always thought about, what it would be like to be on that field. And, I think one game that sticks out is the Arizona game with Mason Foster, got the interception off the foot. That was the craziest game I've ever been to. So that's for sure one.
All right, we'll go to Vorel, and then Chris Fetters. Go ahead, Mike.
Yeah, Jack, it sounds like you said that you hadn't played football between 8th grade and your senior year of high school. So I'm wondering if that's true. What made you want to play all of a sudden your senior year? What kind of pushed you in that direction?
Yeah, so I was all in on basketball, and obviously this wasn't really working out for me. I think I would have had a couple opportunities if I would have stayed with it, but I think football just, there's something about it. I just always enjoyed it. And I think I just wanted to take the chance and just, have fun my senior year for sure. And yeah.
Hey, Jack, without giving up the shop, obviously, and giving away trade secrets, I'm curious what your opinion is on what the tight end room is liking about this new offense, and what opportunities you think it's going to afford you guys going forward.
Yeah, I mean, it's a physical offense. And I think Coach Donovan he has a lot of confidence in our group from everybody. And so I think that just carries on. And I think there's going to be a lot of opportunity this year. And I think, I think it's just the confidence he instills in us, Coach Donovan, that is. I think you can really feel it throughout the room. And, yeah.
Any other questions for Jack before we let him go? Anybody else? All right, we'll call it good. Thanks for taking the time here today, Jack. Appreciate you. Thanks, everybody. Thanks for hanging in.